Okay, let's get right into it. We've all seen those amazing lifetime deals pop up, right? But are they the real deal? Today, we're putting a $399 lifetime underarm hair removal offer under the microscope to see if it's a smart investment or just some really clever marketing. But first, let's talk about the real cost of getting rid of unwanted hair. And I'm not just talking about the price of a pack of razors or one waxing session. I mean the cost that adds up month after month, year after year. You know, when you actually run the numbers, it's pretty eye-opening. If you're waxing every month, you could easily be looking at over $1,500 in just 5 years. Even something as simple as shaving adds up to over $500. So when you put those endless costs next to a one-time $399 package that promises permanent reduction, well, the argument for it starts to look pretty strong, doesn't it? So yeah, at first glance, it seems like a total no-brainer. But that one word, lifetime, that's where things can get tricky. So let's really investigate if a deal like this is the answer we've all been looking for. To really understand the promise, you've got to understand the technology. So what in the world is SHR anyway? SR stands for super hair removal. It's a pretty advanced laser technology, but the concept is simple. Instead of one big, painful zap, it uses these gentle, high-frequency light pulses to gradually heat up and disable the hair follicles. It's often described as feeling more like a warm massage than that classic, painful rubber band snap from older lasers. And this right here is the key difference. Old school lasers were all about high energy, which meant more pain and, frankly, a higher risk for some skin tones. SHR completely flips that idea. It uses low energy, but at a really high frequency. And that gentle heating process is exactly what makes it safe and effective for basically all skin types. And look, this isn't some experimental gadget from a startup. This technology was developed by a major company, Alma Lasers. It uses a special triple-wavelength approach to target different kinds of hair and skin. Plus, it has built-in cooling to make it pretty much painless. And, this is crucial, it's FDA approved for safety, so it's a proven, regulated system. So now that we get the tech, let's circle back to the actual deal we're looking at, that $399 offer for your underarms. There's the number that got our attention in the first place. $399. It's a single payment that promises unlimited underarm SHR for a lifetime. That is a bold claim, so let's unpack what you actually get for your money. Okay, for that price, the deal covers all the initial sessions you're going to need. A really important detail here is unlimited shots per session. That means they're not going to skimp and only do partial coverage. But the most important thing on this list, by far, is that little line about being eligible for something called lifetime maintenance mode. We're going to come back to that. And that brings us to the core of this whole thing. What do permanent reduction and lifetime actually mean when you get down to it? It's time to deconstruct the value. First off, you got to be realistic. Permanent doesn't happen in one visit. It's a journey. As you can see, after your first few sessions, you'll probably see about a 20 to 30% reduction. The real magic happens later, between sessions 8 and 12, where you can get up to that 90% permanent reduction mark. Consistency is clearly the key here. But hey, even if you get 90% reduction, what about that stubborn 10%? What if some hair decides to pop back up years down the road? This is where we have to ask the big question. What does lifetime really, truly mean? And here is the single most important detail of this whole deal. Lifetime does not mean free treatments forever. It refers to a loyalty program. After you finish your initial course of about 12 sessions, you get into lifetime maintain mode. This gives you a permanent, roughly 50% discount on any future touch-ups you might need. So think of it as a lifetime discount, not a lifetime of freebies. But even knowing that, let's think about the savings. You pay the initial $399, maybe get a few heavily discounted touch-ups over the years, and you compare that to the $1,500 or more you'd spend on waxing over 5 years. The financial argument is still incredibly powerful. Okay, so the deal looks really good on paper. But you know, a promise is only as good as the company that's making it. So that brings us to our final calculation. Are they credible? A great place to start is with what other customers are saying. A 4.9 out of 5-star rating based on over 2,000 verified reviews, that's a really big sample size. A score that high tells you they have a consistent track record of making people happy. And the trust signals just keep stacking up. They're an award winner for hair removal, they pioneered this SHR tech in Singapore, and they've served over 18,000 customers. They also mention transparent all-in pricing and, this is a big one for anyone who's ever felt pressured at a clinic, a no hard selling policy. Data is one thing, but a personal story can really bring it to life. This one customer, John, said, "I was hesitant at first, but the professional staff made me feel comfortable. The results are amazing." That kind of feedback just highlights that the experience itself is just as important as the technology. So, after all of that, what's the final verdict? Well, we're not here to tell you yes or no. The point of this is to give you a clear framework so you can make that investment decision for yourself. Let's just do a quick recap of the key takeaways. First, a one-time cost can definitely be cheaper than years of temporary methods. Second, remember that permanent means up to 90% hair reduction, not 100%. Third, and this is the most important one, lifetime means a lifetime of heavily discounted maintenance, not free forever. And finally, the technology being used and the provider's credibility are absolutely crucial. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. Is a one-time investment worth a lifetime of convenience? Based on this deep dive, the case for it is pretty compelling. But ultimately, that's a calculation only you can make.